Hey Guru Nation, happy Monday to all of you. Thank you very much for watching. This is Dan from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. I appreciate it. So today I was talking to my business partner, Chris Sauber. Many of you hear him from the podcast. And we are actually going to be doing a long form podcast on this very topic. So this is just like a little bit of a Cliff Notes version of it for YouTube, because I know attention spans are way shorter on video, as is the case with me too when I consume content. But we can dive deep into this because it's an important topic and we haven't talked about it. We've scratched the surface. So it is, I don't know if you could read it, CRA Interactions and getting future studies. So a lot of people, a lot of my clients, when they first start out, they've never done a study before, but we eventually get them their first study, their second study, their third study, and then they either start getting repeat business from the sponsors and CROs that they've worked with, or they don't, based on your previous interactions with the CRA. So some of the time, sponsors and CROs will ask their CRAs, especially if they're senior CRAs, whether they would recommend their former sites to participate in their upcoming studies. Other times they won't. Most of the time I should say they won't. But they will look at the monitoring reports, because you may not know, as a research site director, coordinator, PI, when the monitors come, you'll see your initial letter and then your follow-up letter, right? But you will not necessarily, or actually you will never, see the monitoring report or the trip report based on your site visit for that day. But guess who sees it? Project managers, clinical team leads, sponsors. They're the ones that determine whether you're going to get selected for future studies or not. So what's the point of all this? It's not to bombard you with useless information. It's to keep in mind and understand that your interactions with your own monitor, is going to directly impact whether you get repeat business from that sponsor or CRO in the future. So what do I mean by that? Well, what is your query turnaround time? Now, they write this in their reports. Site still has unanswered queries from previous monitoring visits. You do not want that in there. Okay, if they start seeing that consistently, and they're going to look at these things when they're looking to add sites for upcoming trials. They're not going to want problem sites. They're not going to want sites that have query turnaround times of 30 days or greater, 45 days or greater. Occasionally it's okay, especially when there's a lot of turnover in the industry. There's a lot of study coordinators that go on and become CRAs or go work as study coordinator somewhere else. A new study coordinator comes on. They're not necessarily up to speed on the queries, and they're probably putting out dozens of other fires, because nothing ever exists in a vacuum, right? It's a very fluid and dynamic situation usually when a new study coordinator comes along. You may have outstanding queries that are old, like over a week old, over a month old, sometimes 3 months old. Every now and then it's okay, but you don't want that to be a pattern. And they look at the monitoring reports. As we move forward with risk-based monitoring, they're going to actually use these analytics to give the sites a grade, sort of like a credit score, based on their previous metrics. And some of the metrics are query turnaround time. Another one is deviations. How many deviations, protocol deviations, did this site commit? Also, GCP violations is another one, which I didn't write on the board, but that's goes in the same realm as protocol deviations. How many of those do you have? Those have to go to the IRB. Those have to go to the sponsor. Those are obviously not good. You want to keep those to a minimum. Those cause problems for sponsors when they're presenting their data to the FDA. Those cause audits from the FDA. Those cause studies to get delayed or rejected by the FDA. So why would the sponsor or CRO choose a site that's consistently committing protocol deviations? Now, everyone's going to commit a deviation every now and then, but to consistently do it and to consistently have a history and a track record of deviations, clearly not a good thing. You don't want to do that. Another one's enrollment, right? How many booster visits did that site need? What a booster visit is when a monitor comes out to the site because the site's not recruiting randomizing or even screening as many patients as they projected they would. So they needed, the sponsor and CRO needs to send the monitor out to do a booster visit. What are some strategies and techniques we can implement? How can we help you, the site, as the sponsor or CRO, to enroll more patients? Obviously, the more of these things they have to do, the more money they're spending on you. You're not producing for them. What do you think the chances are of you getting a future study? Not very good, and these all go in the monitoring reports, dude. PI oversight. How many times did the CRA go to the site but was unable to meet with the PI? That's just the surface of PI oversight. Are lab results being signed in a timely manner? Are ECG results being signed in a timely manner? Is the PI signing off on the EDC in a timely manner for database locks? These are all PI oversight issues. SAEs. How quickly are the SUSARs getting signed and filed by the PI? When the site themselves have SAEs from their patients, how quickly do they send the initial and follow-up reports? These all signal PI oversight. These are all documented in the monitoring reports. Now, these monitoring reports, as we move forward with risk-based monitoring, they're going to get algorithms involved. They're going to have formulas for all this stuff, and it's way more complicated and complex than what I have here. But right now, I believe actual human beings are reading these things and making decisions on, yes, this site will get the study, no, this one won't. But I do think very soon, maybe even it's happening now, algorithms are making these decisions. So you may not even get a human input into whether your site gets awarded a future study, because based on your past performance, the algorithm kicks out a huge red flag and you're not going to get a study from that sponsor again, right? So I think what we're seeing now is a bit of a hybrid situation of that going on. I know as I'm starting my CRO, we're actually using a lot of algorithms, AI. We have a really good vendor that we've interviewed here before, Trials.ai, and they're using all these kind of algorithms and formulas to kick out site data for us to consider which sites need more monitoring, which sites should not be awarded future studies, which sites need to be closed out because they're having too many issues. So just keep that in mind, keep these things in mind. The point of you opening a research clinic is obviously to continue getting studies, and the best way to get studies is repeat business from your former customers. And you got to keep them happy, and these are the things you got to do. And by the way, this list is increasing. This is just a way oversimplified just to give you a general understanding of what they're looking at. But on the podcast, Random Musings from the Clinical Trials Guru, we're going to be talking a lot more about this and diving deep into this topic. Take care.